Hola everybody! It's a kid's cardboard Lucha Libre mask that we're making today. As a part of JJ Reads Here activities at Casa de Rosado, it's based on the book by Lucia the Luchadora, available at the Capital Area District Library. It's written by Cynthia Leonor Garza, and it explores the dream of a little girl to be a luchadora. Here are some masks that can give us some great ideas for your design. You'll want to look through some different masks and see what you like. The supplies you need are a cereal box. You'll need a black Sharpie marker, scissors. Sometimes a box cutter works, but for younger kids I don't recommend that. A pencil, some string, yarn, whatever you have to tie, a paintbrush, and some craft paint. This will give it a really nice base for us, and a piece of paper to draw your pattern on. Take apart your box. Look for the seams, and you can just run your finger around the edges here. Don't worry about being perfect. We're also going to cut around the edges here once we've opened it up. It's pretty easy to do. And while you're cutting, you want to decide if your box is going to fit your face shape. I've decided that it's going to be a little long for me. I had a very large box, so I'm trimming the edges off to make it fit my face better, and shaping the bottom here. You'll want to make sure you have that seam right in the middle here. That's a great place for your nose piece to go. I've decided that I wanted to make sure the edges were even, so I'm just taking a ruler and double checking the flaps and all. You look for the center of the box and just measure from that edge out and trim it up a little bit. That's better. Okay. And then I'm also deciding how I want to do the outside. Some people will trim the outside edges. I'm going to leave those straight for now and just trim off the bottom. It's way too long for my face. Now you'll want to find either a piece of scrap cardboard or something, newspaper, whatever you have around. Put that underneath your box. You're going to get a little bit, I like to have a little jar of water near me when I paint, and a little paper towel or a rag. I'm going to paint the back side of my box. This is not a necessary step, but this will help you have a really nice base to color on. Your colors will pop better. I'm going to be using markers today, and if I do it over the gray cardboard, it won't be as brilliant, but it's not a necessary step. It's just a little extra step to make it nice. When you're finished, you'll want to let it dry. It's going to take a little while, maybe about an hour or so, depending on what type of paint you use. Now we're making our pattern, and what I've done is I've outlined a shape that I like in pencil and then darkened it with a black Sharpie marker. I'm pressing really hard onto the cardboard to leave a slight indentation. This is going to help us see where to make our lines now on the box, and there I am tracing out the indentations. I've flipped my pattern over and I can see real faintly the outline and the indentations from the other side that I did, and I'm going to press that again on the other side of the box, and there we go. In fact, some of the charcoal from the pencil pushed off onto the box, and it's really nice to figure out how to outline it that way. And here I am cutting the box, and this is where, if you have younger kids, definitely parents, you'll want to give them a hand here. It's a little easier to use a box cutter, but since children may be doing my project, I'm just going to be using scissors today. When you close your box and fold it in half, you can kind of see where you might need to do a little more cutting to get it straighter. It's not essential to be perfect here. but this is just a little tip to help it make it look more even. I'm just going around the edges, very easy to do. And now I'm working on the eyes. I'm poking a hole through the cardboard. This is where a box cutter might come in handy. It would be easier to navigate these really tight corners, but I'm doing it for kids, so yes, I'm just going to be using the scissors here. And there we have our last eye cut out. Now we're ready to color. So I used today markers. You could use paints, crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have around here. And I love to use a black Sharpie marker to outline it. Parents, black Sharpie markers are toxic, so if you have a regular marker, that will work too. So I'm just looking at different shapes and patterns that I have around me. This is a heart I was inspired by. Inspired also by this book. Some of the illustrations are just marvelous. I like to look at the designs on them. Inside the cover of the book are numerous design elements I could pick from. They're a lot of fun to take a look at. Now I'm taking yellow marker, and I like to work from lighter colors to darker, and I'm filling in various areas real quick. I'm framing it around with the next color on the rainbow here, some orange, going around all the edges, trying to give a real flame type look. It's very loose and free to do this type of work and a lot of fun. Now I'm putting little tiny hash marks that go around the edges of the piece. If you place them just so, they'll give your shape some volume and give it that real fun, crafty look. One of the design elements I want to include here is a flaming heart. I'm sketching it out between the eyes. And I'm taking my red marker and going around the orange to give it some depth, really make it pop. And I'm also taking the red and also adding those little hash marks on the edges to give it more volume and shape and fun with squiggly lines. Next, I'm taking my pink marker and going around that edge just to give it a real fun glow. And I'm also going inside the heart. I really like how the pink looks next to the red. And I've decided to add more to the mask. And this is where you can just have a lot of fun adding color, whatever you feel works best with your mask. Now I'm adding some design elements on the cheek portions of the mask, and I picked a floral design. You could add anything here. I'm taking yellow for the center of my flower, and then I'm going to take my black Sharpie marker again and go around all the edges here, and I love to add these little hashtags on the flowers to give it, again, some more volume. And I'm taking my black Sharpie marker and going around the edges here. I like to go around the nose portions and the jaw portion as well as the eyes. Now I'm going back in and outlining different patterns that I've made, all the transitions between various colors such as the yellow and the orange. I'm outlining. This is where you have fun. Make little squigggle lines, practice and experiment with different patterns. Now I'm adding some embellishments to the floral piece that I made on the cheek, doing both sides here, and then I'm going to make a bunch of little squiggles and curly cues. I'm just going to have fun with this. I'm really getting into this now. I really wanted to add green to the stems and the flowers here, but I didn't have any. But there's a little trick here. I took a yellow marker over the black Sharpie after it dried, and then I took a teal or a blue colored marker. You could use either one, and it creates this green. And I wanted the green to be a little brighter, so I layered it twice in yellow, once over the blue or the teal marker, and it almost acted like watercolor. It smeared it a little bit, and I really like how it looks, and I like it better as a brighter green. Now I'm taking some purple and going around the edges here. This is really making it pop, and I'm really liking how this is coming out. Now I'm taking that teal color, and originally I was just going to do a little border, but I really like this color and how it's working with all the other colors. And I've decided to fill the whole portion in. I'm really liking how this teal blue color is interacting with all the other colors. It's really looking nice. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. Now we're ready to punch a hole in the edge of it. You're going to need your string here. I am going just about a ½ inch in from the edge here. We want to make it thick enough so that it won't tear when we tie it. I'm using a paper punch to put a hole in it, but you might need to use a pencil or scissors will be fine. Looping it through here and tying it, you'll want to make sure that you have enough string to go around your head. It's better to leave it longer than to cut it too short. And I'm just making sure both sides are even here. I'm trimming off the edge here. Doing a double knot here so that it doesn't come off. And there we go, it's finished. I really love how it turned out. I hope you had a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me. I'd love to see your project. Take a picture here, put it in the comment section. We'll see you later.